Petro, and this is my audience. My dad, my mom, and my fiance. And today I'll be talking about how cats are better than dogs. Now I have dogs, and I have cats, and I recently moved and now only have one cat. And I've found out that it is so much easier just to have a cat. And I'll tell you why. Cats are easier to potty train. For one, they need a litter box. Now, a litter box like this, all you have to do is give it a quick spin over, spin it back, you take that little tray out there, and you dump it, and that's it. But there are other types of litter boxes too. There's the ones that all you have to do is scoop, which, I don't like those as much. And there's also the electric ones, which I love, but they're very expensive, and I can't afford that on my salary. Now, another perk of the litter box is that the cat does not need to go outside. Now, this is a wonderful thing, because with the dog, you have to take dogs out several times a day. Not only do you have to take them out several times a day, you have to bring them in several times a day. You have to do all this while doing things with your busy schedule like work. It's a lot harder to work when you have dogs. Also, dogs going outside, if it just happens to be raining, they get all wet, come in with their muddy paws all over your beautiful carpet and your wonderful furniture. You don't have to deal with that with cats. Also, cats can be left alone longer. They only need the litter box you saw previously, food, and water. Now this type of water dish is called a fountain water dish, and it runs by itself it runs on electricity. They also have food dishes like this, where it dispenses food until there's none left. Now, like I said, cats only need food, water, and a litter box to stay home alone for several hours, which means you can go to work and the cat will be just fine as long as you provide those things for it. Also, dogs bark, and dog barking is normally very loud. Cats meow, and it's normally nowhere near as loud as a bark, so you never have to worry about the cops getting called while you're not home and your cat is left alone. Now, cats are also smaller than dogs, most of the time. Cats being cats, they only meow, thus they do make less noise in general, which means they're quieter, which means it's a lot easier, even if you have maybe a baby, that the cat will not wake it or disturb it or anything like that. Also, a cat takes up less physical space. I mean, when you have a cat on your lap, it's a lot more comfortable than a little dog that's got its nails, and it's just not a fun experience. Also, cats are not as territorial towards people, so if they're declawed, there's a lot less chance of getting scratched. Well, there's no chance at all. Also, there's less chance of injury, like bites and things like that, and they're much less severe if you're bitten by a cat than if you're bitten by a dog, as long as they have the correct shots.
You're making it.
Also, cats have been known, at least in 2010, to be the most popular animal in the world. There are 220 million cats in the entire world.
Wow.
Now, other things about cats that make them better than dogs are cats don't chew on things, which means your slippers and your couch are safe. Also, cats take better care of their toys. When you have a dog, you give them one bone and it lasts a week. Or you give them a ball and it doesn't last very long. If you give a cat a chew toy or something to play with, it lasts forever. Now, one of maybe the best points about cats is because they're so small, like I mentioned before, they can be taken into most apartment complexes. This is much easier for the average person these days. So thus, it makes them better than dogs. These are my references. Now this is my cat. This is Mackerel, the cat who has inspired this whole speech about cats being better than dogs. Now, she's proven to me, even though she's a dough ball, that having her and not more dogs makes things a lot easier. For me and my fiance, going to work is easier, not having to worry that the dogs are going to have an accident or something else might happen, like the police might get called. Now, there are other points about cats that make them better than dogs. Going back to the apartment complex. When you're in an apartment, you have a down payment for damages if you move out. Now, if you have a cat, there's much less reason for you not to get that deposit back, because most cats obviously do not scratch walls or anything of that sort. So, are there any questions?
How long have you had cats?
I've had cats since I was 4 years old.
So you pretty much know the ins and outs.
Correct. Anything else? Okay, well, I'm glad that I got to entertain you with how cats are better than dogs. Thank you for listening.